We're broadcasting from One Atlantic Events located in the Pier Shops at Caesars. It's the only event center in Atlantic City located over the Atlantic Ocean. You can see all of the casinos from here as well as the boardwalk. I'm your host, Whitney Ullman, and when you think of Atlantic City, you tend to think about casinos and gambling and tourist attractions, but one thing we don't really discuss so much are concert venues and events going on in the area. Well, who better to do that than Jeff Schwachter, the editor of the Atlantic City Weekly, who's also a musician himself. But Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Tell us about some of the events going on in Atlantic City.
Well, over the next couple weeks, there's going to be a lot of action in town. There's already been a lot of action in town since the beginning of the summer, and Revel opening up, and Metallica Festival at Bader Field. But
awesome.
Coming up, we have the Food and Wine Festival, which isn't necessarily a concert, but it's a pretty big deal, 4-day festival, Caesars Entertainment. There are 4 venues in town. There's also going to be a martial arts festival at resorts coming up soon. Headliner-wise, you know, Revel has offered a new venue, the Ovation Hall.
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
There's even more places to play for headliners, and this is one of the most packed summers that Atlantic City has had since its heydays in the 40s, 50s, I'd say,
Yeah, I think so.
in terms of how many concerts are coming to town, how many acts, and some of them are bypassing Philadelphia even and coming to Atlantic City. You can find out what they are at acweekly.com,
Yeah, that's right.
because I
Well,
forget all.
You don't forget them all. You just can't, name them all. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, the AC Weekly is the go-to guide for so many people
Yeah,
that come here.
There's J-Lo, she's coming to town.
Yeah, Mark Anthony.
Mark Anthony's coming to town in early August. J-Lo is the end of July.
Yeah.
Huey Lewis, Joe Cocker, a lot of comedians are coming to town. David Brenner at the Atlantic Club.
Right.
There's a lot of review shows and ongoing shows happening at the casinos, including Rock of Ages at Caesars,
That's cool.
Girls Night, the musical at resorts, Beatlemania Now, which is pretty cool. It's actually on our cover this week, at Trump Plaza, and Jabberwockies at Harrah's, among other ongoing review shows that people can always check out during the week, like the Divas Show at resorts and Legends in Concerts at Valley.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great review shows going on, and those are in some of the larger venues. How about some of the smaller venues that people can perform live in? Tell us about those.
Yeah, there's, I mean, in the Atlantic City, in the city, the casinos have a lot of lounges and bars where live music happens, and even on the outskirts of Atlantic City, there are plenty of venues that have live music. Some of them have DJs on certain nights, and some of them have live bands or duos. We're seeing more and more of live music coming back into the area where it was for a while, just economic-wise, especially over the past 4 or 5 years, tendency to go towards just a single DJ to kind of just play music instead of hiring a full band. But there's a lot of amazing musicians and bands in the area
including yourself.
Thank you. That perform locally all the time.
Right. Now tell us about your bands.
Well, we have one band called the Jersey Rhythm Devils, which is a 20s band, and we were lucky enough to play last year at Caesars during the Boardwalk Empire premiere of season 2. We played a couple nights there, and some other various 20s related events like the NBCA's November Gala, I think last year.
I was there.
And I also play with a blues band called the Ocean Riders, and we'll be playing July 27th, I think, is a Friday night at the Atlantic Club Beach Bar. And I have a duo, Jeff and Tamara, and we perform on the boardwalk at Dusk's Boardwalk Beer Garden, and also at resorts at the Whiskey Bar. We'll be playing there in July and August.
Which I think is very important to mention. When you pick up the Atlantic City Weekly, it's not just about Atlantic City, it's about all of the surrounding areas. As you see, you can go down to Wildwood, you could be in Cape May, you could be in Somers Point, you could be in Margate. So we appreciate that, and we look forward to that. I mean, it's the go-to guide for everything happening in Atlantic City, so we thank you for that, Jeff.
Thank you. Yeah, we try to cover it all. It's hard to fit everything inside the paper, but on our website at acweekly.com,
Right.
people can search our event calendar, see multimedia, see a lot of stuff that we couldn't get into the paper. So there's a good reason to check out acweekly.com once in a while.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being on the show, Jeff.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Right.
So you got it firsthand right here from the editor of the Atlantic City Weekly, whether it's a large concert venue, a small venue, whether it's something free to do in Atlantic City or in the surrounding area, you could pick up your copy of the Atlantic City Weekly. We want to thank Jeff Schwachter for coming on the show today.